I'm the founder of the Illustration Bee School, and you're watching the Illustration Bee School TV, the place to be if you want to make lots of money by doing illustration. And today is the Q&A Wednesdays, and the question I got is from Lola from California, and Lola wrote me, she asked me to really talk about what kind of different illustration jobs are out there in the market. What kind of illustration jobs can you have? Let's say once you graduated from an illustration program, you get an illustration degree, and then now what, right? This now what factor, like what do? You have all these talents, you have all these portfolios and illustrations, but you don't really know what kind of illustration jobs are out there in the market. So this is what I'm going to talk a little bit here on this podcast this week, because it's very important for you to really know, to really grasp that idea so that you could really propel in your illustration career. So there are a lot of different illustration niches where you can really get your illustration jobs. So the first one, which is a really big one, is fashion illustration. And I created a podcast earlier, it was last week. Make sure you watch that if you're interested in fashion illustration, because there I really share a lot of tips on that specific career as a fashion illustrator. But that basically field includes illustrations for magazines, for ad agencies. So let's say you could do illustrations for beauty products for ad agencies, maybe for perfume or clothing or accessories. So that field really captures all of these details into that one niche, which is fashion illustration. So that's that. Then the second one is editorial illustration, and that includes a lot of jobs for book publishers. So let's say children's books, they all fall under the editorial illustration. So if you like illustrating for books, so if that topic really interests you, then you should really consider becoming an editorial illustrator and creating a portfolio targeting book publishers, because they're looking for specific illustrators who are editorial illustrators. That's important. So usually, let's say these book illustrations, they are big illustration jobs, because book publishers, they usually require one illustrator to create, for example, 20 illustrations for a book, or maybe even 30 or 40 illustrations. So you can imagine how big of a payment, of a check you're going to get at the end of your illustration job, and that's exciting as well. I mean, you should think about that also. Then there is another field, which is licensing for products, and that's a very exciting field, because it's very different from fashion illustration or from editorial or anything else that is printed, because licensing, it's more commercial illustration. It's even more commercial than fashion illustration, because it gives you the ability to see your illustration work on products. So you can have it printed on fabric for home decor, on pillows, I don't know, on bed sheets, covers, anything. You can have also your illustration printed on stationery items. So whenever you go to a bookstore and then you see, for example, fancy illustrations on a journal, or I don't know, any other stationery item, that's licensing. That's how it works. You basically create an illustration, create a design, and then this design is used on a product. So that can be really exciting for you, because you can really see your artwork already in use. And what's also very exciting about that is that whenever someone purchases an item with your design on it, you get a percentage from it. So just imagine if your design is gorgeous, and then if people buy it, and then you get lots of money. And that's really awesome, because you never stop getting payments as long as this item is being sold. So for example, if you created this design and then one company purchased it and then they started using it, as long as they're selling this item, you're getting all these percentages on your account. So that's awesome. There is another field which is lettering illustration, and that's illustrating letters, and that's more graphic designish. It's very exciting because actually it opens you a lot of doors in the illustration world, because a lot of book publishers or magazines there, sometimes they are not really they don't have projects that, let's say, would fit your illustration style. They don't need, let's say, a fashionable lady or something. They just need letters. They need to illustrate a headline or something in a fashionable way, or a cover for a book. You actually probably notice that in a bookstore you see a lot of book covers with just lettering, because sometimes an image doesn't really reflect what this book is about. It's much fancier to draw something with letters, and that's getting actually, it's a big trend right now, lettering illustration. So I really hope that this podcast helped you. So now you don't feel lost anymore. You have a little bit more of details about this illustration world, and you have an idea of what kind of illustration jobs are out there in the market. In this huge illustration world, there's so much, but now everything is structured for you, and it will be easier for you now to propel your illustration career. So I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll see you next week. Send me your illustration questions, join the Facebook fan page, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I'll see you next week.